Yes, good day, everyone. Okay, so welcome everyone in the lesson 4 of 6 weeks foundation workshop organized by North America Institute of Vihangam Yoga. We are making a progress in this foundation workshop. Slowly, we are adopting a new habit in our life that was never part of us. So before we embark further into it, let us immerse in the holy prayer of the Divine Master. अखण्डमण्डलाकारम् व्याप्तं येन चराचरम् तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. We are in what kind of foundation are we building? Why this name is the foundation workshop? See, foundation is something on which we stand. So, what is the foundation that we are building? What foundation do our life, should our life stand on? What foundation? In reality, that foundation is the foundation of the human dharma. Because we are a human being. We are a human being. And when we are a human being, then whatever is designed for a human being, when we lead our life aligning to what is designed for a human being, it is only then we experience the peace and the happiness. No matter what else we arrange in our life, but if our foundation of Manav Dharma is shaken, if it is not in place, then despite we'll have everything in our life, there'll be no peace and happiness from inside. So today we are going to touch upon the power of dharma, how to maintain regularity during physical and mental challenges. You will know that it is only through the power of dharma that you will be able to sustain despite all ups and downs in our life. So today in lesson 4, we are going to understand what are those 10 attributes that make you and me a human being. If you are deprived of those 10 attributes, that means your life is like an animal, not like a human being. But once you have those 10 attributes, then that will make you a lot better than a normal human being, the other common human being. These 10 attributes not only is going to beautify your characters, but they are going to work as a boost for you to sustain with your effort despite all ups and downs. And that's what makes a human being very, very important and valuable in the society, despite all ups and downs. If you are the same person in front of everybody, then that's how you earn the respect in the society. So, power of dharma. What are those 10 righteous virtues that is called a human dharma? In Manu Smriti, Rishi Manu said, Dhriti Shama Damosteyam Shaucham Indriya Nigraha Dhir Vidya Satyam Akrodho Dashkam Dharma Lakshanam. If you remember this mantra in your life is going to be a life of peace and joy. If you just always adhere to this mantra is the mantra of peace and happiness. Dhriti shamadamosteyam shaucham indriya nigraha dhir vidya satyam akrodho dashkam dharma lakshanam. Are we staying on our human boundaries? Are we sticking to the righteousness, the qualities, the virtues that is meant for a human being? Those 10 attributes that will make your life very beautiful are the dhriti. Dhriti means the patience. Shama means the forgiveness. Dam. This damosteyam is composed of dam and asteyam. So dam means the detached state of indriya, meaning everything is happening outside, you're not affected. That's what the dam is. Asteyam. Asteyam is to not steal from others. So it's more of a honesty that you want to stick to, not stealing from others. Shauch. Shauch Indriya Nigrah. Shaucham Indriya Nigrah is Shauch and Indriya Nigrah. Shauch in Sanskrit means to cleanse. You know, you want to clean a thing, you want to make it pure. So Shauch is at the level of the body, Shauch is at the level of mind, intellect, and at the level of soul. So the purity of body, mind, intellect, and soul is what is called Shauch. Indriya Nigraha. Just like we are going through the course of Mano Nigraha, where we want to bring mind in our control. So from that we can understand that Indriya Nigraha means you should have full control on your Indriyas. It should not be, attracted to things uncontrolled, but you should guide your Indriyas. So we'll go into details of this, but so Indriya Nigra means it should be in your check, in your control. You should be able to withdraw your Indriyas from subject whenever you wish. You should not be tempted to go beyond what is required. Indriya Nigra. Then is Dhir Vidya is broken into Dhi plus Vidya. Dhi means whatever intellect, whatever buddhi we have, it has not scaled to the limit. We are not utilizing our buddhi to the extent we can. So Dhi is the highest scale of intellect. So if we really want to experience a holistic human life, then for that we need to work upon reaching to the highest scale of intellect. So human life is not just about bhoga, that whatever subjects you have just keep experiencing. It's not just that. Human life is an opportunity where you have to scale your intellect up. If you lead in that direction, then your life will be joyful. So dhi is the highest scale of intellect. Vidya. Vidya means knowledge. What kind of knowledge? What kind of knowledge should we aspire to learn? We will know a little bit about that. Satya means the truth. Truth is the foundation of dharma. So if we really want to lead a life of peace, then there's no way out but the truth. We need to be truthful at all levels. We'll discuss a little bit more on that. And then akrodh, as the word suggests, krodh means anger, so akrodh means no anger. We should not unnecessarily get angry on things where you are not meant to be angry. There are people who are getting angry for everything. There are things in your control and there are things beyond your control. We need to understand, more we are aware of things that is in your control and the things that is beyond your control, more we are aware of that, more you know where you are unnecessarily getting angry. So we need to really make sure that we are not angry for unnecessary things, because that's not our virtue. The human being is not supposed to get angry for nothing. The anger, though the name looks like it's a negative attribute, but it is negative only when this anger has stolen your vivek, your intellect. The anger against the unrighteous things, anger against the injustice is a right thing. If the God has given us the anger, only problem is we are not in position right now to have controlled anger. It is going uncontrolled. And in anger, we are also committing crimes, unrighteous act. Anger doesn't mean that you have to go beyond your righteousness. Anger within the righteousness against the injustice is what we should follow. So these 10 attributes, dhriti, kshama, dam, stayam, shauch, indriya nigrah, dhih, vidya, satya, akrodh. These 10 attributes we need to work on. We need to develop these attributes within us. What is human life? Human life is about ensuring that you persist with these 10 righteousness. If you put an effort in persisting these righteous qualities in you, that is what is your purusharth. That is what is our effort of leading a human life. Otherwise, we start leading an animal life. So more you lead an animal life, more you lose the opportunity which is waiting to unfold on you. The moment we become a human being, then there are other opportunities which are waiting to open up for us. What are those opportunities? The divine opportunities. There are certain divine experiences which would not happen to us in meditation. Those divinity, those divine experiences, those divine entities would not come into our experience unless we become a human being. In fact, the mind, this very mind which is so wavery, is not going to come to rest if we do not become a human being. And that is why in the Mano Nigraha course, we are understanding about these 10 righteous virtues of a human being. If we don't ensure these qualities in us, forget it. Our mind is never going to come to rest. No matter what mechanics you apply, no matter what logic you apply, mind is this. If I do breathing, this breathing, that breathing, this is going to make me feel relaxed. Yes, temporarily. But the kind of mental peace these dharma is going to bring in you is uncomparable to what you will get out of those breathing and this and that mechanics that you apply into your life. It's not about mechanics. Oh, how to breathe, what technique, oh, how long should I breathe in, how long. These mechanics fail. These are useful. The breathing technique are certainly useful to prepare you for the meditation technique, but eventually to transform from within, you require to imbibe these qualities. If you if we do not have the patience in our life, then for every little thing our mind will, no matter how best you do breathing, you bring your mind to rest, but because we do not have patience for one thing, little thing, we will get restless again. So what use of the breathing if we get restless again? So to sustain the benefit that you get out of breathing, it is very important that we have the foundation ready, the pot ready to keep the nectar of peace. If the pot itself is not there, no matter whatever quantity of nectar is poured into our life, we will not be able to hold it, not able to keep it. So we have to work on these qualities. In fact, these qualities are what is going to make us stay at peace and ease and comfort, happiness amidst all the the negativities in our life, amidst all the challenges in our life, amidst all the odds in our life, no matter what is happening around us. But if within us these 10 righteous qualities are maintained, then you will not be disturbed. You know the reality of life because you are also building upon Vidya. That's why Vidya is important. What Vidya? The Vidya about what is it inert and what is eternal, what is ephemeral, what is conscious, what is inert, what is permanent, and what is temporary. We certainly need to be very, very aware of what is there in this which is permanent and what is there in this which is anyway going to decay. What is there in this wealth which is permanent? What is going to stay with the soul? What is something that anyway the soul has to leave behind? You cannot just give your ignorant eyes to these truth. And that is why Satya, the truth, has to be accepted in our life. So to elaborate further, Dhriti, patience, as I said, patience is the foundation of everything. If we do not have patience in our life, then no matter whatever we want to achieve, it will be shaky ride. But if we have a patience in our life, then we'll be smoothly heading towards it. If the tree would have forgotten, if the plant which is growing to become a tree, if it will not have patience to stay with the root, then the fruits will not happen. So similarly, when we have embarked into a journey of transforming our life, bringing change in our life, it is very important to stay with the patience. Only when the tree or the plant gets enough time and watering, it becomes a tree. So our effort of this transformation will certainly give the fruit, provided you allow a certain amount of time of nourishment through the meditation, through the practice of these dharma. So this human dharma is applicable for all human beings. It is a human dharma. These 10 righteous qualities are for every human being. It is not for one set of belief system or the other set of belief system. It is for every human being. This is what makes a human being a human being. So patience. We need to practice the patience, because the qualities that is absent in our character, unless we practice that quality, unless we exercise to remain patient in situations which were otherwise very, you know, which was very restlessness for us. It was a reason of restlessness for us. In those situations also, if we intentionally try to be patient, situations like when you hit a traffic jam and the signal is red, instead of feeling irritated, oh, I have a meeting, I'm getting late, you know it's uncontrolled, it's beyond your control. Even though you think that you have a meeting, you're getting late, but you are stuck in a traffic, there is no point of losing your patience, no point of showing anger also, unless you have a solution to resolve that. So it is better not to get angry, but go for that solution. If not, if it's beyond your control, then use that opportunity. Rather, thank God that, thank God, you have given me opportunity to exercise my patience. Now this is the moment where everything is against me. I have a meeting to attend, I am getting late, and here I hit a traffic. And I still need to hold my restfulness, the control over my mind, control over my emotions in this situation. So thank God you've given me a practical ground where now I can practice my patience. So just stay quiet. Just look around, or just sing your favorite song or whatever you do, but just stay in control, because only when you start exercising it, it will become your nature. Otherwise, if you don't put intentional effort of becoming patient in those situations, then that attribute will not develop in us. So if we really want to have controlled mind, then it's not only during meditation where you practice how to control, but you are also now developing those attributes, those virtues, which will anyway not disturb your mind in those situations where otherwise you are getting disturbed. So these attributes, developing these attributes, are the foundation for us to stay in control. So patience has to be practiced. Forgiveness. If there are forgivable things, meaning sometimes we get angry and don't forgive people all because of ego. It's something that is hitting our prestige, and so we get angry. We know, how can I forgive him? How could he tell me like this? Even though he told something to you. But if your business is not disturbed, your life can still go the way it is going just because of ego. If we are carrying the anger against somebody, the grudge against somebody, and we are not able to forgive, that means we are spoiling our own life only. So, forgiveness. The forgiveness also look for the opportunity that what are the things which can be forgiven. Who forgives? The big people forgive the small people. Let's say there is, somebody who is very low in their character, and they do something to you which anyway does not impact the grand life that you are living. You are living a grand life with your own big purpose in your life. For you, that purpose with the goal that you have made for your life is much more grand than these little things that low character people does to you. If that does not impact you, you are a big person. A big person should forgive the small people, but a small person should not forgive the big people. If a big person is doing injustice to you and you say that, oh, I forgive him, you know anyway, he's a big person, he can do whatever he wishes to. No, that is not the righteousness. The Kshama, who should give Kshama to others? The one who is big. A big person gives Kshama to the small people. But a small people who is the victim of something, a victim should not forgive. A victim should not forgive the big person. But a big people, the small people does little thing to you, you're not victim. It doesn't impact you. All you are getting angry for is because it hurts your ego. If that is the case, I think that is the opportunity for you to exercise forgiveness. Ego should not drive our life. So if there is forgivable things, please look out for that opportunity. Somebody is serving you, your spouse, your family member, they're doing every day fantastic job. One day they are late in something. Those are the opportunity. We must exercise forgiveness. In fact, what forgiveness? We should be obliged to them that they are helping us. Each family member are helping each other. We should be obliged instead of, you know, showing our commandment to them. So those are the moment among the family member. There are always opportunity to exercise forgiveness. We must exercise forgiveness intentionally. Just find an opportunity. Just remember, oh, this is the occasion where maybe I can exercise forgiveness. So you have to first give your intentional effort in exercising these qualities: patience, forgiveness. When we stick to these for a number of days, then slowly it will become your nature. That's how you develop these virtues in you. Dam. What is dam? Dam is something which will develop only when the other qualities are exercised. Because dam is something which is inherent nature that has to develop in you. Our Swamiji Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, in Manav Dharm book that he wrote, he describes dam with an example of ghee. He said a solid ghee, even though is kept in the area surrounded by the fire, it is quite natural that the fire heat will melt the ghee. The ghee will melt down if the fire will start affecting it. But what is dam? Dam is like, even though the ghee is surrounded by the fire, but ghee has no impact of the fire, and it is just solid the way it is. I mean, you can understand how easy it is for ghee to melt when it is put, in the fire. But in that situation, if ghee is not melting, it simply means, even though it was quite common for a ghee to get impacted by the fire, but it is not getting impacted, and that's why it is not melting. Similarly, in our day-to-day life, where you think, no, it is quite natural that I will get angry at things like that, even though you feel that it is quite common for a person to get angry or to not be forgiving on things, even on those circumstances, if you are unaffected, and your indriyas, your body, your mind, your intellect, everything is unaffected, in staying in very natural rhythm. That is what is the state of dham. Dham means you just go anywhere, irrespective of the circumstances. You do not change from within. You have the same state of restfulness wherever you go, whatever circumstances you are in, whatever challenges you are in. You still stay with the same control on your intellect, on your indriyas. That is what is dham. Means we are not afraid of anything. We are not afraid of anything. We are just common, normal human being in all circumstances and giving our best. So dham has to be our character. For that, we need to have trust on entity like Sadguru, entity like Almighty. When we have trust, when we surrender, the dham will develop automatically. Astayam, we understand, not stealing others' resources. Whatever is in our right, we only do that. Shauch, purity. We know that we purify our body by taking bath, but how about the body inside? If we are eating impure food, lot of non-veg food, all that are going to make our body impure from inside. So proper diet, sattvic diet, is what is required for your body to feel pure from inside, and taking bath daily. However, the mind, the purity of mind, purity of intellect, purity of soul is achieved by the wisdom, by the knowledge. So by the wisdom of satsang, we can purify our mind, intellect, and soul. Indriya Nigraha, we understand that Indriya Nigraha is about having control over our Indriyas. What it simply means is this is again another opportunity. If we make some decisions that this time I will exercise, this time I will do this thing and that thing, all our plans are ruined. It it is taken aside if our indriyas are not in control. So what happens is, even though the time has come for the exercise, but we think, oh, this movie is very interesting, let me just finish this movie. You get attracted to things which is not in your plan. So our guru says only those who succeed in achieving big in life, who have indriya nigrah, who knows when to pull their indriya from the things so that they can engage into the right things at right point of time. So without indriya nigrah, without having control on our indriyas, it is impossible to do big things in our life. And similarly, without having indriya nigrah, our mind cannot stay in control. We get temptations if we are so loose with our indriyas. So we must practice it. If we make a decision that I will eat only two roti in the lunch time and little rice, then two roti means two roti. Even though The sabji is very tasty, but you make a decision that I'll eat only two roti because that's what is good for my health. Then you eat only two roti, no third roti. I will eat sweets only maybe once a week. That means whatever decision you have made, you try to practice that. Once you try to practice that, it becomes your character. And that applies, even though you practice on the meal, a little thing, the two roti in the lunchtime, you apply, you exercise Indriya Nigra against one thing, the Indriya Nigra will become your character. It will then apply everywhere in your life. So that is the beauty of the practice. When you practice these qualities, the the highest scale of intellect, meaning truthfully knowing what is right, what is wrong, is possible only when you are in touch with the spiritual books. So study of Vedas and the practice of meditation. When you practice meditation, there is a natural growth in your intellect. Your intellect will be able to make better judgment, not impacted by the emotions, not impacted by the temptations, because you'll be in your true self when you are in meditative state. When you meditate every day, it will become your state where you are detached from things, all because of meditation. And when you're detached, then you are in your true self. And then your intellect will work unbiased. So, to develop intellect to the highest scale, you need to be reading the Svarved, you need to be reading all four Vedas, and you need to practice meditation on regular basis. It is only then the intellect will keep growing. Vidya, what kind of Vidya? Vidya, there are two kinds of Vidya. One is the Apara Vidya, which you and us learn for our day-to-day earning, some skill development. Those are Apara Vidya. But Paravidya means Vidya by which you know the entities, you know the things which is beyond your indriyas. That is Paravidya. That is Brahma Vidya. So only when we are into learning the Brahma Vidya, only when we are into the path of learning the technique of liberation, when we have inclination towards the spiritual wisdom, when we develop that, it is only then the Vidya is going to reflect in our character. We will become a human being. We will behave differently. The moment you start learning Brahma Vidya, it is going to impact, it is going to purify your mind, it is going to purify your soul, it is going to purify your intellect. And then we will be able to make the right decisions, which is good for our soul, not to justify any greed, but to justify the righteousness. These Vidya, the Brahma Vidya, the spiritual wisdom, is only going to give us the lasting peace. Otherwise, we may get into the act for which we'll have the grievances forever, that why did I do that in my life? Our mind will be restless because of that one crime that you commit, all because of ignorance, all because you were influenced by your greed, by your emotions. So we must aspire to keep attending satsang. We must be in touch with satsang. Satsang is like a shower which is going to purify your mind. Keep your mind in purity. Your mind, your intellect, your soul has to stay in the utmost purity so that your act, your karma is not impacted. So Vidya, what kind of Vidya? The spiritual Vidya, the spiritual wisdom is what is important for our human character. Otherwise, we become animal for no reason. So never ever go away from satsang. So after these 6 lessons, at the same time, you still have to continue joining us in our weekly gathering that happens exactly the same time, 10:30. This is only for our good. Just like you take daily shower, the satsang is like a shower for our mind, for our intellect, for our soul. Satya, the truth. Truth is something that does not change. So we truly become truthful only when we also aspire to experience what is truth within me. What is something which is not changing? The body is changing all the time. What is something which is not changing within me? It is the soul, and it is the supreme soul, the almighty within the soul, that is not changing. So we need to definitely have the inspiration to go inside, and we have to put a gradual effort for that. It is a daily practice for us to sit in meditation, because you want to experience the truth, who you are. Only when you aspire to experience who you are, you will have control on your indriyas, you'll have control on your emotions. Your life will be going in very steady way, very steady path. So always having inclination and motivation that, oh, till now I have not been able to control my mind, I have to keep practicing my meditation. You cannot give up this path. You cannot. The moment you give up this path just because the mind is not coming to rest, that means you are inviting troubles in your life. You are inviting troubles. So even though mind does not get rest, it doesn't get controlled, you still have to persist with the effort, because that's how slowly a day will be a divine day. It is in Sadhguru's hand what day he decides that now this person has done enough effort. Now let me open the Pandora box of divinity for him. And one day, one fine day, you sit in meditation and everything will happen to you. That is what is the glory of Vihangam Yoga. So truth and akrodh, non-anger, all these 10 righteous qualities are something that we must exercise, we must develop within us. Find an opportunity where you can exercise your patience, your forgiveness, your indriya nigraha. Try to stick to the truthfulness, not only by your speech, but also by your thought, by your action. You do what you think, and you say you do what you say. So your thought, your speech, your action should be aligned. We must put an effort to do it, even though you think that I am in a business where it is inevitable, we cannot avoid telling lies. Even though the situation is like that, still we must try to become truthful, because that's for our good only. Okay, so with this, we have learned the righteous virtues which are very important for bringing the true control on our mind. No matter what level of meditation you practice, what breathing you practice, if you do not exercise these qualities, meditation is not going to give you the lasting benefit. So we must give the foundation of dharma. These are your dharma, means something which you cannot separate yourself from. These are supposed to be your inherent quality. These are your dharma. These are your identity of a human being. You cannot stay away from your own identity. So dhriti kshama damusteyam shaucham indriya nigraha dhir vidya satyam akrodho dashkam dharma lakshanam. These are the 10 signs of dharma. Dhriti kshama damosteyam shaucham indriya nigraha dhir vidya satyam akrodho Dashkam Dharma Lakshanam. Hope you will remember this mantra. Let us conclude with the brief practice of meditation. I request all of you to bring your mind to complete rest. There is no motion in any part of your body. You close your eyes and fold your hand together in Pranam Mudra. We are going to chant Gayatri Mantra for 5 times. Whenever you say Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat, you express your feeling of surrender and as if you are asking for the righteousness from the Almighty. What kind of righteousness? These righteous qualities, that I be patient, I be forgiving, may I have control on my indriyas, may I be truthful, may I have no anger, may I stay honest in my life. So with this feeling, we'll chant Gayatri Mantra for 5 times. Om Bhur Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhur Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhur Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhur Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhur Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. We place our hand in Gyan Mudra on your knees and just observe your breath for a minute with your closed eyes. Just feel how the breath goes in and out. Experience every bit of breath going in and out. Notice how the breath is creating the coolness in your nostrils. Feel the cool air passing in and out. If you're wearing your specs, it is the time for you to take it off, causing you to become angry. So you will start getting angry, and then just because you're in habit of doing this meditation practice, what will happen? You'll be able to calm yourself down. Your mind was going into anger, you brought it back. You'll be able to calm down. There are situations where you'll be losing your patience. And then you say to yourself, no, I have to stay in patience. And you will be able to literally bring back the state of restfulness in you, all because you're in the habit of doing it. So whether you are able to control your mind here and keep the mind here for longer time, that is not what you are practicing. What you are practicing is every time your mind goes away, are you able to bring it back or not? That is what is your practice. So more you spend time in doing this, that mind goes away, you bring it back. Mind goes away, you bring it back. More you do this, that will become your nature. That you started getting angry, you will calm down. You started getting impatient, you will calm down. You are about to tell lies, you will be able to control. No, I should stick to my truthfulness. So all these virtues will automatically develop just by this practice. That is the beauty of Vihangam Yoga meditation. In Vihangam Yoga meditation, all other righteous qualities, those virtues, will start developing on its own if you really practice this. No matter, don't worry that, oh, even in 3 days, 4 days, 1 week, my mind has not come to rest in meditation. No, you're not practicing that. It will come automatically. When you keep practicing this, slowly your foundation is building. Your virtues are developing. When you are ready with all virtues, mind will come to rest. So this is like self enriching. You're enriching yourself to become a better meditator, even though you're not able to control your mind. That's the beauty of this technique. So keep practicing this technique, no matter whether you think that you're succeeding, not succeeding. Believe me, after even 3 months of this practice, regular practice, morning and evening, your own family member will tell you that you have changed. The kind of restlessness that you had before, now I don't see that in you. Even though you would think that, oh, my meditation has not succeeded, but actually it is succeeding. It is bringing change in you. You just don't notice. So hold on to patience, continue on this meditation journey. This is certainly going to help because this is a divine technique. It is not a human made technique. This is a technique of Brahma Vidya. This is a technique by which all the rishis have gone through and then gone inside into higher stage of meditation. So this is nothing new. This is not a technique that Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj gave you. This is a technique which is eternally existing. When the earth is made, when this creation is made, this technique is brought down in each era by that eternal master. So this is an eternal technique, and it is revived by that eternal master. So it is not a human proprietary, but this is an eternal technique. So you have to have trust on it. With that trust, with that faith, we'll continue on this journey. Thank you all. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. Are we paying attention to the breath and the focal point? Breathing is normal breathing, or we should do deep breathing? Okay, so yes, Rohit, when we begin with the meditation journey, we begin with paying attention to the breath, but that is only first few seconds. After that, you just observe the focal point. You have no attention on your breathing then. All you look at is your focal point. And the breathing will settle into its normal pace on its own. Basically, it will be a little slower than our regular breathing. So breathing will adjust on its own. All you have to do is just focus on your focal point. Yes, today, first time from last week, I was able to put my eyes on the focal point. I brought back my mind 8 times to the focal point in my 20 minutes meditation. Wonderful. Yeah, so things will improve, of course, provided we keep practicing twice daily, because there's another thing that happens, that let's say you are making progress in the meditation, but the moment few days you take a break, and if you think that after break, if I start meditating, I'll start from where I had left, that is not going to happen. That is the problem in this, our human character. It's a problem with our human character. Any habit that we break, you know coming back to the same habit again, it takes time. So when we started making progress in our restfulness, in our character, in our habit, we must persist with that without giving it a break. So all you have to do is just keep practicing twice daily. If you have little time, then just for the sake of keeping the habit, you practice it for 2 minutes only. But make sure you do not break the habit of meditating twice daily. Once in the morning, once in the evening. It is important to persist. It's important to be consistent with the 2-time practice. Thank you. Okay, so thank you all. We'll meet again next week. Another thing, I wanted to get in touch with Tana CPA, because we have one ashram need. Our ashram in India are in need of certain financial decisions. So we want to take some suggestions from your Tana group CPA, whoever takes care of your accounting. We just want to get in touch with them and get some suggestions about our organizations. So if any of you know who that is in your organization, could you please uh, message me? My number is 614-787-0693. So please give me the contact number of your CPA. We want some financial suggestions from the CPA. Okay. Thank you so much. Otherwise, also those who are willing to join daily meditation sessions, if they have not yet got the call from our team, I request them to send the email at northamerika@vihangamyoga.org, or you can also write at info@vihangamyoga.org. Okay, so Surya did not get any response. Okay, so Surya, what's your number? Maybe you can message me at my number 614-787-0693. You can just message me your number. We will get you added in the daily meditation group directly. Send me your WhatsApp number. Because we have a WhatsApp group. Oh, you do not have a cell phone number? Then your email, if you check your email, you would have already got the details about the link and things that you need to join. Otherwise, let me show you. You can make a note of it. That is where you have to join. No, I think if you check your email, yeah, okay, fine. I'll make sure that you get the email. If you check your email, you'll get a link, a conference link, where you need to join on satsang and on daily meditation. If you check your welcome email also, you might have got some welcome email. If you check that email, in that email there is a link. Oh, you did not? Okay. So I'll make sure you get the email. In that email, you have a conference link. The same conference you have to join for daily meditation also at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Okay, so I'll make sure you get the welcome email at your email address, Hotmail ID. Okay. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you, Vijayji.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Bye.